الحمد لله نحمد ونستعين ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا أما بعد Eid al-Fitr is the day to celebrate a great achievement, the successful completion of a month-long intensive training program of self-discipline and spirituality. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us all the fasting, all the prayers, all the recitation of Qur'an, all the good deeds that we did sincerely for His sake in that blessed month that has passed us. But the question is, what after the month has now finished? Do I return to the state that I was before the month of Ramadan? Or do I take with me the changes that I made after it? And the scholars tell us that if we want to know whether the good that we did in the month of Ramadan, whether that good was accepted, one indication and one sign of acceptance of our good deeds is that we are able to take those changes with us afterwards. That those good deeds stay with us, that we are able to do them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Qur'an, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullah. O you who believe, have taqwa, piety, righteousness in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ. And have a look. Look at what you are sending forward for tomorrow. And the tomorrow is the year after. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ. Again, have taqwa in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Piety, righteousness, duty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, guarding against sin. إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of everything that you do. وَلَا تَكُونُوا. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues and says, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهِ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Don't be like those who forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They forgot Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They did not obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or they obeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only in Ramadan. But after Ramadan they forgot. فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cause them to forget themselves. Will cause them to forget Him. They forgot Allah, so they will forget to obey Him, to do the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires of them. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. And they are of the rebellious. And then in the third ayah, لَا يَسْتَوِي أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ وَأَصْحَابُ الْجَنَّةِ. They are not equal. The companions of the hellfire and the companions of paradise of Jannah. Ashabul Jannah humul faizun. The companions of Jannah, of paradise, they are the ones who are the winners. They are the successful ones. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be of those. To be of the companions of Jannah. To be of those who will succeed and win. And we are making this journey towards paradise. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow this journey of ours to be successful. So alhamdulillah, we finished the month on a high, a spiritual high, motivated. But the risk is that it will go to waste. That everything that we did, all those long hours of prayers that we performed, waking up before the adhan of Fajr to pray 2 rak'ah of qiyam, eating the suhoor, praying tarawih, the optional prayers, reading the Qur'an, trying to read of it as much as we can. The risk is that all of that goes to waste if we don't have a plan. So how are we going to take those changes with us? So I'm going to focus on just 3 aspects regarding that plan. They are standards, conviction, and role models. So the first step, if we want to take those changes with us, the first step is to ask yourself, I need to ask myself, are my standards now, today, higher than they were before I entered Ramadan? Have I raised my standards? Have I raised my ambitions? Have I raised my goals? Compare the person who at the start of Ramadan set up as his goal to read the entire Qur'an through the month. That was his goal, one person. The second person set as his goal to read a third of the Qur'an. So they both tried very hard. The person who set a third of the Qur'an as his goal, if he tried very hard, the maximum that he would have reached was his goal of a third of the Qur'an. But the person who set as his goal the whole Qur'an, even if he tried his best and still did not reach the whole of the Qur'an, he would still have reached more than the third that the other person set for himself. So what's the difference in that? What's the lesson in that? The lesson is that always set your goals higher, because chances are we're going to fall short, but we will still be better off than when we started. So let's look at some of the companions and whether they did this, whether they implemented this concept of setting the bar high for themselves, so that it can be a challenge. Don't set your goals low enough, it's not a challenge. It doesn't serve the purpose. But if you set it high enough, it becomes a challenge for you. Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu ta'ala an, when he came to Medina and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, I will pay you with this Ansari. And the Ansari brother said to him, I will give you half of my wealth. He said to him, no, keep your money. Keep your wife. Show me the market. Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu ta'ala, and when he died, he had in his name 8 million dinars. 8 million to his name. He set his goals high. His standards were high. Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala, when he was Amir al-Mu'mineen, the message of Islam spread to almost 2/3 of the known world at that time. If he was just content when he took after Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala an, just to govern Mecca and Medina, if that was his goal, that's all he would have done. But that was not his goal. His goal was to take the message outside of Mecca and Medina. So we can see from these two examples that the Prophet ﷺ taught these companions, taught his followers, taught his successors to set high goals. Don't be content with just being average. Umar II, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, radiallahu ta'ala an, he was the Khalifa for less than 2.5 years. And he managed to eradicate corruption and nepotism. Because what happened was, over time, the ruling elite became corrupt. They started taking perks for themselves that they didn't deserve. When he became the Khalifa, he got rid of all of that. And it was because of that that they killed him. But he managed to eradicate it. He managed to install in its place just governance. That the government must be just. But unfortunately, which governments today can we claim to be just? We are suffering from the same problem, so we need another Umar II to bring us back the justice that we deserve in our governments. The second aspect, it's not enough to have high standards and high ambitions and high goals. It's important, yes, we need to set them high. But then, if you don't have a conviction, a belief that you are going to achieve your goals, those high standards are meaningless. So you need to match it up with conviction, motivation, determination. And this is what these companions did. They were determined to go out, and with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they set their goals high, but they worked hard for it. So we can't sit back and relax. We must have absolute certainty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant us what we aspire to. Imagine if the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam When Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam came to him in the cave of Hira and gave him this mission to proclaim this message of worship only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine if the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam went home and did nothing with it, or did very little with it. If he was not motivated, determined to work very hard for it, we would not be sitting here today. We are sitting here today because of all the hard work that the Prophet ﷺ did. And that's why we love him so much. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose him to transfer this message, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided us to accept it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an, وَاعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ. Serve your Lord until certainty comes. And for all of us, the greatest certainty is that we are going to die. And we don't know when death is going to come. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, don't worry about when your time is up. Don't let that concern you. Allah has kept it a mystery. Out of His mercy for us, He kept it a mystery. But what we need to do, focus your energies on working very hard. Serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Serve His deen, serve His cause. If we look at the early Muslims who came to this continent, the Afghans, then the Yugoslavs, then the Turks, then the Lebanese, and then the rest of us. If those early pioneers didn't work hard to lay a foundation, we would not be benefiting from what they did before. So we owe them a debt. But the more important question is, what are we doing to further that goal? What are we doing to contribute to this society, to this country, to build on that foundation that they laid for us? And then the third is role models. So we need to have two things, the first two things, ambitions and high standards, high goals, a conviction and determination to go out and achieve them. But we need to have role models that inspire us, and I mentioned a few of them already. People, when we look at them, we can see that this is possible, that it's not impossible. That we can make these achievements if they have managed to do them in the past. Why can't we replicate and do exactly the same today? A 19th century French educator and philosopher said that if greatness of purpose, smallness of means, and amazing results are the three criteria for human genius, then who can compare to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? This was a non-Muslim man. Having a look at these three criteria of how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with total reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, achieved what he achieved. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, when she spoke about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because we're talking about role models now and we can't go past Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's our first and foremost role model. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha said about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, كان خلقه القرآن. His character was the Qur'an. Al-Qur'an yamshi ala al-ard. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the Qur'an walking on this earth. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we just passed the month of Qur'an. One of the changes that we need to bring with us is the change that the Qur'an made to us. Did we allow the Qur'an to change us in Ramadan? We read it, we understood it, but did we implement it, and are we living by it? Are we following in the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ? So our characters must reflect the Qur'an. Reflect all of its values, all of its principles, all of its goals, its ambitions. The Prophet ﷺ, over an amazing period of 23 years, transformed a nomadic Bedouin people into leaders of nations for centuries. The Prophet ﷺ laid the foundation which gave the world the golden age of Islam. This golden age coincided with Europe undergoing its dark ages, producing a legacy of role models like Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala, Umar ibn al-Khattab, Uthman ibn Affan, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Khadija, Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anhu, These are our role models. So each and every one of us must have a planned program after Ramadan, if we want to guarantee that the success we achieved in this blessed month continues. Imagine for a moment, if we all changed, like we are sitting here, we are all slightly different and better than we were a month and a half ago. Imagine that. All of us, like we are sitting here today, we are just slightly better. And we do this every year. What's going to happen to the society around us? What's going to happen to our families? It's all going to change. It's all going to improve. Marital disputes and divorce will decrease. Drug abuse and drug addiction and delinquency, juvenile delinquency will diminish. Fraud, cheating, all of those things will vanish in our communities, in our societies. People will look at our communities and they will wish to come and live in our neighborhoods, because they will be the safest neighborhoods. You can leave your car unlocked. You can leave your front door open. Nothing's going to happen to your property. Can we say this about our neighborhoods today? So what does that mean? We are not changing even in small little ways. We are not allowing the month of Ramadan to change us. We need to make that change. We need to allow this month to change us. And that's how we demonstrate the beauty of Islam. People need to see it in our neighborhoods, the cleanest. I'm not talking just about filth and dirt. They must want to come and buy. The property prices in our area should be the highest property prices, because people are waiting to come and live near our mosques, even though they're not Muslim. They should be able to open bottle shops in our places, but nobody will buy the alcohol because they don't have customers for it. Poker machines will not get any revenue because no one gambles in our neighborhoods, because we have managed to convince our neighbors about the harms of these things, the harms of alcohol, the harms of gambling. So the question is, am I merely dreaming? Or can we make this a reality? We need to make this a reality. And we can. But the challenge is after Ramadan. The challenge is now after Ramadan. We are at that critical moment right now. We are still on that same platform that we ended Ramadan with, but that platform is getting shaky. And in my second khutbah, I'm going to tell you why. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه فيا فوز المستغفرين ويا نجاة التائبين. الحمد لله نحمد ونستعين ونستغفر ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه أما بعد. We're on that high because we managed to discipline our nafs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did us a great favor by taking shaitan out of the equation. For a whole month, shaitan was out of the equation. It was just me and my nafs. You and your nafs. And you managed to discipline it. You managed to get it under control. You managed to put it under your feet and to say, I am your boss, you are not my boss. You're not going to tell me when to eat, I'm going to tell you when to eat. You're not going to tell me when to sleep, I'm going to tell you when I want to get up and pray. I'm going to serve my Lord, you're not going to tell me otherwise. Didn't we manage to do that? All of us? We managed to do that. For a whole month we managed to do that. But now after Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting us to the test. Because now shaitan is back. And shaitan is back with a vengeance. He's saying, for a whole month, I had no control over you. I had no influence. We're going to see now. We're going to see now who is boss, you or me. And for some of us, this battle, we're going to lose this battle. We're going to lose this battle against shaitan. Shaitan is going to come and deceive some of us with sweet words. He's going to say, for a whole month you were such a good soul. Why not reward yourself with just a little bit of laziness? To some other of us, he's going to come and say, why don't you reward yourself with just a little bit of decadence? You were so good, reward yourself with just a little bit of sin. Just a little bit as a reward. Because you were so good for a whole month. This is the waswas of shaitan. And this is what we are struggling with. This battle now will continue for 11 months. And this is the battle that we are fighting on this journey to Jannah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the strength to resist our temptations just like we did in the month of Ramadan. And when shaitan comes to us, we need to reject him. قال إمام ابن القيم رحمة الله عليه مخالفة الهوى تورث العبد قوة في بدنه وقلبه ولسانه. وقال بعض السلف الغالب لهواه الشد من الذي يفتح المدينة وحده. Imam Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullah alayhi said, opposing your desires, controlling your desires, disciplining them, will allow the servant to acquire strength in his body, in his heart, and in his speech. And some of the righteous predecessors, as-Salaf as-Salih, would say that conquering your desires needs greater strength than one person who would conquer a city by himself. That's how serious this matter is of controlling our desires. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the month of Ramadan to tell us that it is possible. We were able to do it for a whole month. Yes, shaitan is in the picture, but shaitan has no power over us. He cannot force me, he cannot force you to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All he can do is just whisper these insinuations. He can whisper these temptations. But I have the choice whether to listen to him or not. And that's the strength that I need to take with me now outside of Ramadan. That ability not to listen to shaitan. That ability to stick with my ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To continue to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we all do that, if we all practice every day as if we were in Ramadan, then Jannah is going to be our Eid.